Alright, let's screw around with the 360. I'll put you up here. What I want to do a little bit, I'm taking a break from inside the shop. The shop is such a mess, it's depressing. So I figure let me come out here and do some stuff and get a game plan. You know it is, I got two things that are in there that have to get done, and they're just driving me nuts. And it's not getting done because nothing is going as planned on either one of them. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm trying to work on Vinny's radio, and it came at a kind of a bad time, to be honest with you. He's been talking about it for a long time, but he wanted to get it to me so I can get some work done on it. And he wanted me to put one of my modulators in it, speech processors. But anyway, he's been talking about it for about a year, and he finally said, I'm going to send it to you. Well, that was good. Normally it wouldn't be a problem, but the problem occurred when it came here. It was also the time about 3 months ago. Oh God, I've had it for a long time. And that's when I was having all those problems with my heart. So I couldn't really do anything. You know, it was just taking me right down. I mean, that's all there was to it. You know, and that went on for about 6 weeks. So it really, you know, slowed me down on a lot of shit that I had to do in the shop. And on top of that, a friend of mine that I have coffee with, the past commander, had asked me to make him a holster for his Glock. He had bought me a small laser for it and needed a holster for it. You know, and I said, okay. And that all came about during the same time, which is also the same time that I bought the van, and I wanted to get the van done. It's important that this van is done. So all this shit started piling up, and the shop became a nightmare. And now, what would normally have taken me an hour to do on the radio is now turned out to be a problem, because the radio itself, the radio's working, so it's not a big deal with the radio not working. The problem being is the radio is so old. And the way it's put together, they put a lot of chokes in the audio circuit. The way that that's done, the piece that I built, even though I built it years ago, is not compatible with it at this point. So I have to make some changes to the radio. And seeing that I haven't got a schematic on any of this stuff, it's taking time. It's driving me nuts because I haven't done this in a long time. You know, when it really gets down to board level stuff. And then on the other side, the holster. Tom had dropped off his firearm for the weekend when he went away with his wife, which was great, but then Monday he picked it back up again, and I still really didn't have time to make the adjustments. So we figured, well, my 40 may work, but the 40 doesn't. The 40's larger, and it just doesn't fit it. Now, luckily, I made some drawings on the holster, you know, as to where I wanted to cut it, modify, drill, and stuff like that. But again, that also takes time. And without having the firearm here, it makes it worse. And again, the shop is a total disaster. Now, this past Monday, the computer that's in there that was given to me by a brother at the lodge, he had given me like 5 computers, old, but they were, well, most of them were supposed to work. And out of the 5, only 2 of them actually worked basically flawlessly, if that's the word you want to put it. Slow, because they're old, but they fired up. One of them has a problem with the monitor, but it's not a computer issue. The other one is working completely. I was thinking about keeping it and trying to use it with one of my units, but then I said, you know what, somebody needs this computer. I told, George that I'd find a home for him. So I got a hold of this one guy that has an 8-year-old son that's just getting into it a little bit. And I said, well, listen, I've got an old desktop here, a tower. And he says, you can have it if you want. It runs really slow. Right? But the father knows a little bit about computers, so it's not like I'm giving it to somebody that knows nothing about them. So I know when I give it to him, I'm not going to have to, hear, well, what's it doing? Why is this? Why is that? And I've already told him I don't want a phone call asking me about the computer, because here it is. You know just as much about it as I do. Don't bother me, or we're not going to be friends anymore, and I'm going to hang up on you. So he was supposed to pick it up on Monday. He called saying he wasn't going to be able to make it on Monday because apparently we're going to get a lot of rain on Tuesday, and if you believe the weather, which in this case we did, he had a few things he had to do because he was on the shore, and he couldn't make it down, so he was wondering if he can do it this coming Monday. So I said, yeah, not a problem. So I still have that computer sitting there, which I thought I was going to get rid of. So meanwhile, let me get some things done here. What I'm doing here is I got a battery box back here that you can't see right now. This battery box, I built it. Well, let me get the camera. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Okay, let me take you back here with me. This battery box right here to the right. Well, you'll see it regardless because you can turn the camera around. That's if I can get the camera to sit up right. Yeah, let me slop and fall. And there we go. I built this battery box for the Astro van because I had it inside the van, this particular battery. And I didn't want just a regular battery box because they're made of plastic, and this being in the van, I wanted to make sure if anything happened to the battery that it wasn't going to go anywhere. So I built one out of stainless, and this is what I have here. Now, I just noticed it by showing it to you. I was going to put this underneath the truck, underneath the side doors. All right, there's a spot down there which would be perfect. The problem being is sometimes it's a pain in the ass, especially if I want to change it or check it. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to be able to do that anyway. I'm going to have Chris do it across the street because I'm just not going to be able to get under there and get this battery lifted up like I used to. So I decided I was going to put it in here because it's in a metal stainless box basically. If anything happens to this battery, it's not going to bother anything in here. I've got the drip loop here. I got a vent. And I've got a little spot over here I can use to vent it in, because when we pulled out the old seats, those bolts went right through the floor. And I put a carriage bolt in it. So hold on. Nobody for me. So when I put the carriage bolts through, I didn't bolt them from the bottom. I just bought long ones. I filled them up with some silicone and I just pushed them down into the hole just to prevent anything from coming up and to fill the hole. So all I need to do really is take out one of those carriage bolts, which is over in that corner, and drop the vent down, and I don't have to worry about it, and I'll just put some silicone around it and we're done. So I'm going to put this here. Now the plan was to put it under the seat. The problem being is it's about a 1/4 inch too big, too tall. And even if I took the carpet out under the seat, it wouldn't fit. So I wanted to see how much room I had, and did I give myself any room to where I'd be able to cut it. And it doesn't look like I gave myself much room here to work with. No, very little room. Well, you know what? If I take it right to the top, I can probably, you know what? I can probably make it work. It's going to be close, but I bet you I can make it work. The main thing is I don't want to end up worrying about the, well, basically the positive side of the post here. And I don't think I'm going to have to worry about that, because I also have this piece of nylon blocking it to start with. So you know what, I may take this battery out of here, take this box inside, cut this box down right about there. Yeah, but actually I can go a little more than a 1/4 inch. Okay, let me get a measurement here so I know. Yeah, and I bet you that'll work. So what I got to do first is I got to get on that side of the van, which you can see if you turn around, that's a total disaster, and make some room so I can slide it under without the top on it, so I can get more of an idea just how much I need to cut off. And then let me put the top back on and get another measurement. So, all right, so let me do that. So I got to get out of the van. I'm going to leave you guys sitting here on the battery. And trust me, if it blows up, you'll never know. And then I'm going to open up the back door. I am. If I can back myself out of here. Meanwhile, I'm waiting for a phone call. I don't know if I told you guys or not, but yesterday I met up with somebody. Ammunition. Okay, no matter where I turn, I have ammunition lying around. I think it was over the weekend. I was watching one of Lone Star Rider's videos, because if you guys know him, you know that he's out there doing a run on his motorcycle around the country for awareness and a fundraiser to raise money for American diabetes. And he was in Maine, and he was held up in a hotel because one is he was sick, you know, and that definitely can put up. Whoops, sorry guys. I'm gonna shut one of these cameras kind of to the side there. So he wasn't feeling good, so he was laid up in his hotel for a few days. So meanwhile, see, that'll fit perfect. So yeah, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. Okay. So I sent him an email, and I said to him, listen, if you're going to be coming through Connecticut, and you have time, give me a jingle. He says, and let's meet up and buy a lunch. Well, he got back to me the following day, and I guess when he felt a little better. That's not going to work. I got to take this apart before I lift it out, because I really don't want to carry this whole battery in there. Well, you know what? It might be easier. So anyway, I said to him, buy him lunch. So he got back to me the following day and said, give me your contact info. Because I said to him, if you're going to be coming out of Mass, or Maine rather, and you're going to be coming down, through Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, or whatever. I'm in Connecticut, and I'm only, a few minutes from the 91-95 split. A little community, town of Branford, so I can meet up with you. I'll buy you lunch. I mean, it's not often you get a chance to meet somebody that that you sub. Now, I've been a sub of his, and he mine, I'm sure, for a couple, 2-3 years. I'm thinking. I don't watch a lot of his videos and comment. He doesn't watch a lot of mine. But you know what? We're there, and I watch some, and I comment on some, and he does the same, But we're not that every video comment type thing. So, but he got a hold of me and said, yeah. And then he got tied up in Rhode Island on Tuesday because of the heavy rain that we had, and it was heavy, so he kind of screwed up on Tuesday. But we ended up meeting up on a Wednesday. We met up somewhere around 1 o'clock or so, 1:30, 2, somewhere in that area. And we went to a diner over here. I bought him lunch, and we bullshitted for a few hours. And, he's a nicer guy, and it's hard to believe because he's a nice guy on YouTube, but he's a nicer guy in person. And we had a few things in common. He was with the fire department at one time. I am still with the fire department, acting as a fire police, and he was curious as to what that was. And basically what I had told him was, because a lot of people don't know, and sometimes fire police in different parts of the country do different things. But here, we kind of like just control the scene. Our main objective is keeping the firemen safe and giving them room, and keeping the Joe public away from them so that they can do what they have to do, meaning the people and their vehicles, because they just keep driving and they'll run over them because they get so fixated on the lights and what's going on that they don't pay attention to the road in front of them. And the firemen are not paying attention either because they're trying to put out a fire. So they're running out, they're backing up with hoses, they're pulling hoses, and sometimes they're in the street, and they try to work within a safe zone. They try to set up a safe zone using their vehicles, but at this point, that's basically what we do. And so we had that in common, and then he lost a son 3 years ago, and I lost a son in 2011, so that's 7 years ago. So, we had a few things in common. So, but if you get a chance to swing by, Lone Star Rider. His name is Rex. Nice guy. Now, he had brought his camera with him, which he had hooked up, and he does a little video. So we did a little video together. And I'm thinking to myself, geez, I didn't bring my camera, because I don't think of that a lot. I really don't. But then afterwards, I'm thinking, wait a minute. He used his phone to do the video. I have my phone with me. But see, I don't think of the phone for that. So it's something I would have never thought about. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what happened there. All right, I'm going to shut this off, and I'll continue with this when I come back with the battery.